This is the moment that will define everything for you. Stop blaming circumstances. Stop waiting for the perfect time and stop making excuses that hold you back. The truth is this: the only thing standing between you and your dreams is you. It's time to face it. Take control and act now. Subscribe to the channel so that you never miss a powerful and thought-provoking speech. Let's go deeper. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to say, I can't, or I'll do it later? We all do it. It's natural to avoid discomfort, to hide from challenges, to convince ourselves that tomorrow will be better. But here's the truth: excuses are the invisible chains that stop you from living the life you deserve. Every excuse, no matter how small, adds up over time. It tells your mind that limits are permanent, that your dreams are optional, and that effort is negotiable. And when you look back, you realize that it wasn't the world holding you back. It was the stories you told yourself. Excuses are more than words, they are habits. We learn them from a young age, from people around us, from society telling us what's safe or possible. The moment you start believing these excuses, they start controlling your life. You might not notice it at first, but each excuse slowly steals your energy, your focus, and your confidence. It convinces you to settle for less, to stay comfortable, and to live beneath your true potential. But here's the most important thing to understand: making excuses is never about the situation. It's about your mindset. The real reason we excuse ourselves is fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of stepping into the unknown. And until you confront that fear, until you see it for what it really is, you will always find a reason not to act. The good news is that fear is not permanent, and excuses are not permanent either. They can be broken, and they must be broken if you want to achieve more than just survival. Now, imagine your life without excuses. Imagine taking responsibility for every choice, owning every moment, and refusing to let fear dictate your actions. That's not a dream, it's a decision. And in the next sections, we will uncover the real reason behind every excuse. Show how it's holding you back and teach you how to break free and start taking action today. The truth is this: excuses are not just words, they are shields. Shields we use to protect ourselves from the fear that we might fail, that we might fall short, or that we might have to face the hard truth about our own potential. Think about it. How many times have you told yourself this? I can't start today because I'm not ready, or I'll do it later when things are easier. Every one of these statements has the same root. They are born from fear. Fear of discomfort, fear of judgment, fear of stepping into the unknown. And fear, when left unchecked, becomes a habit. A habit that convinces you that staying in your comfort zone is safer than pursuing greatness. Excuses also serve another hidden purpose. They give you a false sense of control. When you say, practice, I can't because of this situation, you feel justified. You feel like life is the problem, not you. It's easier to blame circumstances than to confront your own responsibility. But here's the brutal truth. No one is coming to save you, and no situation will ever be perfect. Life will always throw challenges, setbacks, and obstacles in your way. Excuses make it feel like you have a reason, but in reality, they are the chains holding you back. Every excuse is a lie you tell yourself to avoid growth. Let me tell you a story. There was a young man who dreamed of starting his own business. Every day he found a new excuse. I don't have enough money. I'm too inexperienced. The market is too risky. Years passed, and he continued working a job he didn't love, telling himself he would start one day. The fear of failure and the comfort of excuses kept him from taking action. Meanwhile, people around him who faced similar challenges started small, learned as they went, failed fast, and succeeded faster. The only difference was that they refused to let excuses control them. Excuses thrive because they feel safe. They convince your mind that avoiding discomfort is better than facing uncertainty. But here's the catch. Comfort is an illusion. The moment you step out of your comfort zone, you realize how limited your fears actually were. Fear is temporary. Regret, on the other hand, lasts a lifetime. And the biggest regret is not failing, but never trying at all. The real reason people make excuses is because they are afraid to take ownership of their lives. They are afraid to confront their own potential. They are afraid to see what they are capable of achieving. Understanding this is the first step toward freedom. When you realize that excuses are rooted in fear and avoidance, you can start to dismantle them. You can start asking yourself, is this really a reason? Or is it a fear dressed up as a reason? When you break through that question, you take the first step toward real action. And action, no matter how small, is what separates those who live in excuses from those who live in results. Every excuse you make is a silent thief stealing pieces of your potential without you even realizing it. When you tell yourself I can't, because you are not just avoiding a task, you are avoiding growth, success, and the life you are capable of living. Each excuse is a moment you give up, a chance you let slip through your fingers, and a step back from becoming the person you were meant to be. The longer you allow excuses to guide your decisions, the more you limit your future and the more your dreams fade into the background. Think about all the opportunities you've ignored because of excuses. Maybe you didn't apply for that job you wanted, thinking you weren't qualified. Maybe you didn't reach out to someone who could change your life, believing the timing wasn't right. Maybe you didn't start learning a new skill because you were too tired, too busy, or too scared. Each of these moments may have seemed small, but over time, they add up. They create a pattern of avoidance that becomes your identity. I am someone who waits, someone who hesitates, practice, someone who settles. And once this mindset takes root, it's not easy to break. Let me tell you a story. There was a woman who dreamed of writing a book. She had the ideas, the passion, and the skill. But every day, she told herself she didn't have enough time. I'll write next week, she said over and over. Years passed, and the book remained unwritten. She watched other people publish their stories, build their careers, and achieve the recognition she longed for. The excuse had stolen years of her potential. The truth is, she could have started with 10 minutes a day. She could have taken the smallest step. But the habit of excuses kept her frozen. Excuses don't just steal time, they steal confidence. The more you give in to them, the less you trust yourself. You start believing you aren't capable of handling challenges or achieving your goals. Your mind convinces you that failure is inevitable, so it's safer to do nothing. And when you do nothing, you reinforce the pattern. You teach yourself that settling is normal, that dreams are optional, and that your best life is always somewhere in the future. Here's the reality: your potential is waiting, but excuses are blocking the path. Every time you choose action over excuse, you reclaim a piece of that potential. You send a message to yourself: I am capable, I am responsible, I am unstoppable. The difference between someone who achieves greatness and someone who doesn't is rarely talent or luck. It's the courage to refuse excuses and take action no matter how uncomfortable it feels. Now, imagine what your life could look like if you stopped making excuses today. Imagine embracing challenges, facing fear, and pursuing your goals relentlessly. The opportunities you thought were out of reach would start to appear. Your confidence would grow, your skills would improve, and slowly but surely, the person you see in your dreams would become the person you see in the mirror. Breaking the habit of excuses is not about motivation alone. It's about creating a system that forces action. Even when fear or laziness whispers in your ear, the first step is awareness. You need to catch yourself every time you make an excuse. It could be something small. I'll start tomorrow. I don't feel ready. Or I can't because of my situation. The moment you notice these thoughts, stop and ask yourself, is this a real reason? Or is it fear dressed up as a reason? Awareness is the foundation because you cannot fix what you don't recognize. Next, replace excuses with action. Action doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to exist. Start small if you have to. Write one paragraph of that book you've been dreaming about. Take 5 minutes to plan your day. Make one phone call you've been avoiding. The key is consistency. When action becomes a habit, excuses start to lose their power. The mind learns that discomfort is temporary and that results come when you face fear, not avoid it. Another critical habit is accountability. Share your goals with someone you trust, a friend, a mentor, or even a community online. When someone else knows what you intend to do, your excuses become harder to maintain. You create social pressure that reinforces action. People who refuse accountability often fall back into excuses because no one is there to challenge them. But when you have someone checking in, reminding you of your promises and celebrating your wins, you start building momentum that excuses cannot compete with. Visualization is also powerful. Imagine the person you want to become, the version of you that doesn't allow excuses to rule your life. See them taking bold steps, achieving goals, and living the life you want. Now compare that image to the person who allows excuses to dominate. The contrast is stark, and it should fuel your decision to act. Every time an excuse arises, bring that vision to mind. Ask yourself which version of me do I want to be? Finally, embrace discomfort. Excuses thrive on comfort, and growth thrives on challenge. The more willing you are to step into uncertainty, risk failure, and confront hard truths, the weaker excuses become. Start viewing discomfort as a sign that you are moving forward, not as a threat. Celebrate small victories, even when they are uncomfortable. Each step you take builds courage, discipline, and resilience. Qualities that make excuses irrelevant. Breaking the excuse habit is a process, not a single event. It takes awareness, consistent action, accountability, visualization, and the willingness to embrace discomfort. The moment you commit to these principles, you begin to reclaim your life. Excuses lose their power, fear becomes manageable, and potential turns into reality. Remember, every day you act against excuses, you teach yourself that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. Taking responsibility is the ultimate power move in life. When you stop blaming others, circumstances, or luck, you reclaim control over your future. The moment you say, this is on me, something shifts inside. You move from being a passenger in your own life to the driver. You stop letting fear and excuses dictate your actions, and you start making choices that align with your goals. Practice. Responsibility is not punishment, it's freedom. It gives you the power to shape your life instead of reacting to it. Think about people who achieve greatness. They are not necessarily smarter or luckier than the rest of us. They are willing to own their results, both good and bad. They understand that life will never be perfect. That challenges will appear and that setbacks are inevitable. Instead of complaining or making excuses, they face reality and ask themselves, what can I do to change this? That simple question separates the winners from everyone else. Responsibility is not about having control over everything. It's about having control over your decisions and your mindset. Here's a story to illustrate this. There was a man who failed in his first business. Instead of blaming the economy, his employees, or bad timing, he asked himself what he could have done differently. He analyzed every mistake, learned from it, and tried again. His second venture succeeded because he took full responsibility for his actions. The same principle applies in every area of life. When you own your choices, you stop being a victim of circumstance. You gain clarity, confidence, and direction. Taking responsibility also means acknowledging your excuses for what they are. It's easy to say, I can't because, and feel justified. But true growth begins when you admit, I could have this, and I chose not to. That admission is powerful because it gives you back control. Once you realize that your choices, not your circumstances, determine your outcomes, you start taking steps that actually move you forward. Your life becomes a reflection of your decisions, not your fears. Responsibility changes your mindset, and mindset changes your results. When you stop blaming, you stop wasting energy. When you stop blaming, you start focusing on solutions. And when you start focusing on solutions, progress happens. Every action you take as a responsible person compounds over time. Challenges become opportunities. Mistakes become lessons. Fear becomes fuel. Life is no longer something that happens to you. It becomes something you actively create. The power of taking responsibility is simple yet transformative. It's the antidote to excuses, the weapon against fear, and the foundation of success. When you own your life, you unlock a level of confidence and freedom that excuses can never touch. From this point forward, every choice, every action, every step forward becomes yours. And the person you become through responsibility is unstoppable. Stories have a unique way of breaking through our defenses, showing us what is possible when excuses are abandoned. Imagine a young woman who always dreamed of running her own business, but kept telling herself she didn't have the experience, money, or connections. Every day she repeated the excuses, letting fear dictate her actions. One day, she decided enough was enough. She started small, learning as she went, taking every challenge as a lesson, and refusing to let excuses control her. Within a few years, that small startup became a thriving company, and the woman she had once doubted herself to be became a confident, unstoppable entrepreneur. Then there's the story of a man who wanted to run a marathon, but constantly found reasons to postpone training. Weather, work, lack of energy, he had an excuse for every day. But one morning, he realized that he was losing more than races. He was losing his confidence, his health, and his sense of self-discipline. He committed to 15 minutes a day, then 30, gradually building a routine. 2 years later, he completed his first marathon and discovered something more valuable than finishing the race. He discovered the power of persistence and refusing excuses. Even on a smaller scale, transformation can be profound. A student who always said, I can't learn this subject, began practicing consistently, seeking help when needed, and replacing excuses with action. In a short time, grades improved, self-belief strengthened, and the student gained the confidence to pursue dreams that had once felt impossible. Each of these stories shares a common thread. They all faced fear, hesitation, and doubt. But they refused to let those feelings justify inaction. The beauty of these transformations is that they are not reserved for extraordinary people. They are available to anyone willing to take responsibility and act. Excuses do not distinguish between rich or poor, young or old, experienced or inexperienced. The difference lies in the willingness to face discomfort, make tough choices, and take steps toward change every single day. When you choose action over excuses, you write your own story, one where growth, achievement, and fulfillment are inevitable. These stories are proof that the real reason excuses exist is not external, it's internal. They show that fear and avoidance can be conquered, that potential can be realized, and that dreams are always achievable when you refuse to let excuses define your life. The question now is simple, which story will you tell about yourself? Will it be one of hesitation and regret, or one of courage, action, and transformation? The choice is yours. And it begins with the decision to quit the excuse game today. This is it. The moment that changes everything. The excuses you've been holding onto are illusions. Traps that have kept you from your true potential. The truth is simple. You are capable, stronger, and more resilient than you've been telling yourself. Every second spent justifying inaction is a second stolen from the life you deserve. No one else is coming to fix it. No circumstances will magically align. The only thing standing between you and your dreams is the choice to act right now. Picture yourself in 5 years if nothing changes. The same excuses, the same hesitation, the same. I'll do it tomorrow. Now, picture yourself in 5 years if today you make the decision to stop giving excuses. Imagine the confidence, the achievements, the growth, the sense of fulfillment. Excuses might feel comfortable, but they are poison to your potential. Action, courage, and responsibility are what create winners, leaders, and the lives others only dream of. The power to change your story is in your hands. Every fear, every doubt, every reason you thought was valid is an opportunity to prove yourself wrong. Step into discomfort. Take ownership. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. It will never come. Your greatness is not in luck, circumstances, or other people. It's in the choices you make today, the actions you take, and the commitment to never settle for less than you deserve. This is your wake-up call. Quit the excuse game and start living the life you were born to live. You've seen the truth. Excuses are not external. They are your own creation, born from fear, comfort, and hesitation. But you also know the power you hold to break free. Every excuse you refuse is a step toward the life you dream of. Every action you take builds confidence, momentum, and results. The path to your potential is never easy, but it is always worth it. Remember, greatness is not given. It is earned through courage, responsibility, and relentless action. Now is the time to stop waiting, stop blaming, and stop settling. Take ownership of your life today. Face your fears, confront your doubts, and refuse to let excuses dictate your future. Your dreams are waiting, and the only thing standing between you and them is the decision to act. Start small, start bold, but start now. Your future self will thank you for every choice you make today. If this message inspired you, take action immediately. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you watch the next video to continue your journey toward greatness. The life you want is not a distant dream. It begins with the choices you make today. Stop making excuses, start taking control, and become unstoppable.